Hello, Bill.
Okay, let's test this. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can
Oh,
you hear me?
wonderful. Good, good, good. I was a bit concerned about that. Let's see if I can make all this work properly. They told me I'm supposed to have minimal background. That's what I was taught, but there we go. It's not too bad. At least you know I have an office.
There you go. Yep.
How are you, Wade?
I'm well, and you?
Good, thank you very much.
How you
Hi,
doing,
Fred.
Fred?
Hey, hi guys.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I went to the eye doctor, so my vision is all blurry.
Uh-oh. Oh, you had the drops in him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate it. It drives me nuts because it makes me
Yep.
dizzy.
Yep. Hey,
But
I
I'll
got
survive.
got one for you, Fred. Deposited. I sent you an email. I
It's
don't know if you
already in
got
the
it yet.
system. Got it.
Okay. Did you see that little credit union is? They called me and said, "We noticed you deposited checks from Canada." So they're learning.
Well, hey, it's all good because maybe we'll get more.
Well, there are at least three more I'm expecting from the island. So I'm really pleased. We have eight to date, and I think there should be 11 to 12 that are certain. And I'm not sure how much more to follow up with clubs because I don't want to harass them, and I don't want to sound like we're going out with hat in hand.
Sure.
So, but I did learn something from this, is that very few people read the newsletter, the governor's newsletter, and probably fewer review the website.
Really?
Because many of the clubs said, we had no idea this was happening, Bill. Because when I sent the personal email out, I had some immediate responses. But anyway, interesting to learn that. Hi, Sean.
Hey, how are you?
Good, sir. How you doing tonight?
Uh, Doing good. Thanks for
Oh,
asking.
good. Yeah, good guy. I'm glad to hear that. Um, on a matter that's not on the agenda tonight, I was going to ask you. At Pets, I bought everybody in the club the new theme pin for next year. Okay, and went to the post office, and they won't let me mail in an envelope. It's a little tiny pin. It looks like this. I don't know if you can all see it, but there it is in a little bag. Okay,
Oh, wow.
and they want $3.50 to mail each one.
hmm
So what I'm trying to come up with is a different way, or find some way to give them to hand out as many as I can personally. I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind. Like for the island in particular, but man, there's got to be a cheaper way to mail things. I mean, than that. $3.50 to mail that little pin. Anyway, just to let you know, I'm working on it because I did buy everybody a pin. Okay. Okay. How are we doing here? I did get confirmations from. I got one from Troy. I believe I got one. I didn't get one from Pamela, but I thought I had one from Cynthia, and that's really critical.
No, Cynthia's not going to be here.
Okay.
I saw her today.
Yeah.
I went and picked up my taxes. And I remember when we set this up, she said she wouldn't be able to be here because it's in like the heat of the tax season. And
Sure.
when I was at her office, her assistant told me it's not on her schedule. There's no way she can do it. And then Cynthia came out and said, I told him I couldn't be there. So
That's okay.
I
You
said
know
I
what?
would cover for it.
Well, I'm recording all this, and so what I'm going to do is I did learn something, by the way. If I don't set the meeting recordings to be on the cloud,
Mm-hmm.
they record automatically down to my desktop. The problem is they come down in some format that I don't really know how to work with, Wade, and it's very difficult. It's an M3U,
hmm
and it's very difficult to convert.
Yeah.
What I did learn is if I set the default to record to cloud, they will automatically save it as an MP4.
Nice.
So what I will do is this is being recorded right now on the cloud. And so what I'll do is then I'll just send I'll copy it down, put it on YouTube or something, or even on my desktop, and then I'll send it to Cynthia, and she can, at her leisure, then she can take notes and create a set of minutes. Okay? So should we get started?
Yes.
Does everyone have the agenda? I did send it out, but I don't know if everyone received it.
Yes.
I've got to fix this camera so it looks like I'm looking at you folks. This is really not good. I don't know how to make this any better. Okay, so roll call. All right, I can take care of that. Minutes I'll make from last month. I'm sure I'll just ask Cynthia next month to give us the minutes from that meeting and this meeting, okay? So, Fred, we're going to jump right into your part.
Okay.
Which is the presentation of profit and loss, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Let me share the screen here. Hang on. See if I can figure this out. All right, and then I'll bring this up. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yeah. Can you make it any bigger? Or is that just my glasses?
I don't, you know, you probably can, but I'm not sure how.
Okay, view options. No, maybe you are in full screen already. Okay.
I am in full screen, so.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
Wait. Let me see if I can do this over here. Hang on. How's that?
That's really good. Thank you very much.
There you go. My knowledge of QuickBooks is about enough to get a small business information to taxes. So sometimes when you ask things like that, I don't know. But what you're looking at here is a view, and I'm going to show you this. So if I collapse all this and look at the year, so this is January through December with the budget items addressed. And then the actuals versus the budget in the first column, then the budget, then the over and under, and the percentages on the other side. And as you start to open this up, you can, the categories that we have currently, and we can change this, we can do anything we want, but this is based on the information that I have and based on the information that, we've discussed to this point. We have income in the form of donation, membership dues, and then just kind of an other types of income. The one that's in there, the actual, is the interest from the bank account. So that fits into that other category. The year to date, we have $6,423.09 in total income. On the expense side, we have bank charges, club expense, contributions, district dues, Rotary International dues, and you can see the total expenses year to date is $26,640.46. And at this point in the year, we're positive by $3,700, more than $3,700. And if I uncollapse this, then we start to see the categories. And let me just kind of walk you through what I did here to create the budget. If you look in the budget column, which is the second one over, under donations, I said, I think it's feasible that we'd probably see a couple $100 worth of donations from individual businesses. It could be higher than that, could be less than that, but if we don't make it, it's not the end of the world. I thought that there would also be possibility of individual member donations. We've heard that from some of our membership on some of the meetings already. Whether it will tally $400 a month, $400 or not, I don't know. I kind of figured it was about $100 a quarter. And then we got to the Rotary Club donations. At the time I built this budget about a month ago, we thought we'd be really happy with 700. We've already got 829, so we're going to have to raise that. So those are the donation categories, and if we have other categories that we find over time we can add them in. But I think based on what I've looked at in the budget you shared with me from Tumwater, Bill, and what we have, that probably covers it. And then membership dues. We have a situation where we captured our dues at the beginning of the year, which is halfway through the Rotary year. So we will be doing that again in the middle of the year in June, I assume, for July.
July, yeah.
Okay. So that's where the delta difference is there. I didn't expect that all of our current members will renew.
Right.
I think if I do the quick math, I think I assumed we were going to have 20 and not 22 of the current members renew. And then I had new membership at $1,000, which is 4 new members and basically 4 during the year. That's a pure guess. I have no idea whether it would have 4 members or not. I mean, we don't have a membership chair, so until we have somebody that's sort of charged with that, I don't know that anybody's going to attack that, except us on the board.
Correct.
So those are the membership revenue options, and then, as I said, the other income is just interest. But it's an annual budget of, at the current membership load, plus 4, losing 2 on an attrition basis year over year. That's a $12,000 budget.
Okay.
So
before you go to expenses,
Sure.
Fred, I'm just the annual dues you have down there for 10,100. Are you is that you're making an assumption for a full Rotary year? Or
well, I assume so. Yes. Since we paid our charter dues, I've always paid my dues on an annual basis.
right.
So I assume that's the way it's going to work for us, but maybe we could do it differently. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm just thinking. I'm trying to understand the budget for annual dues, because if I were just to take 25 members,
I know where you're going.
times 250, I end up with 6,250 for
Yeah.
So
Here, let me show you what I did here.
okay.
When we go into, get this out of the way. When I go into membership dues, this was based on the number when we talked at the time of setting of the budget that we were going to do our renewal at 200 versus 250.
Mm-hmm.
So if I change that to 250, actually I have 4,400 there. So
Okay, I see. Yeah.
so
Okay. So 22 members at 200.
yeah, actually, maybe I didn't take out 2. I thought I had made it 20, but we can do whatever we want there.
Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to understand how you did that. Okay.
And then I have the new members in at 250.
Right.
So,
correct.
if we change that number, and we've had some discussion about maybe we needed to keep it at 250 on a renewal basis. I know you and I did an email, Bill.
Right. Right.
Then that number would go up. So
Correct. And I want to stop there for a minute and ask Wade and Sean about this. If I can get this better. That's better. Okay. Is that Fred and I traded some emails regarding, regarding
membership.
whether or not we should keep the dues at 250 for everyone in the coming year or not. Because as we looked at our expenses, when you add up, I don't know, do you have that email handy, Fred? But I could probably do the calc real quickly in my head. But if we were to, Rotary is going to go up every year, and it's going up a lot, like $4 every year, Rotary International. The district is going to stay at their 41 for the immediate future. Oh, good. Bless your heart, Fred. Looks like you got it.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it.
So what happens is we end up with over $100 a year for Rotary. Oh, that looks like it.
Yeah.
We end up at 41 for the district dues. Rotary, halfway through the year or the beginning of the year, they charge us $1.50 for council and legislation. Then there's insurance and all this. And it ends up with RI dues, believe it or not, RI dues are up to $81.30. Then we have district dues at another 41. So now we're up to 120. Depending upon how many members we have, like Fred says, 20, let's say 20 members, we're looking at 600 for the website, 144 for Zoom, and licensing, et cetera, it's $855. We divide that by 20, that's another $40. So, it's up to you folks because you're the board, but we're pushing $165, $170. So if we go to 200, that only leaves us $25 or $30 to build the pot for things like community projects or whatever. But I'm going to step back and let you folks have that discussion.
Well, I mean, 250 is something that we started with. I mean, it's a difference of $50. I think, it's, gosh, it's hard to say, if we do better than adding 4 members over the year, then maybe 200 is not so bad. It's great when you can spread it out, but at the same time, we need money to do things. So,
Yeah, we got a break this year because we didn't have to pay the district dues. So we'll actually have more money to distribute if we choose, or we can just bankroll that and save it to pay next year's dues. But once you add the district dues to the international dues, it really looks to me like we need the 250 just to be able to have any sort of significant impact on a project or a series of projects. That's my read.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, Bill left. He's upside down. I don't know what happened to him. What happened? What are you doing, Bill?
You're not going to believe this, but my camera fell down. There it is. Well, I was trying to set it up so it would look better that I was talking to you folks and not, come on. Well, there I go again. All right.
He just dropped us.
It's funny. It's funny. All right. Technology, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to leave it right there and let it go with that. Okay. Okay. So am I hearing then that the board members are thinking of leaving it at 250? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd agree with that. Yep.
Okay. All right. And that would give us a lot of cushion, I think, because you know how any new club, right? We're going to get some attrition. And our goal is for each of us is to recruit. And I'm not trying to steal anybody, but I think there's 2 or 3 members from my old club that are thinking about coming on board with us because of their schedule. So, like I said, I'm not actively recruiting them, but I am actively recruiting other people, just letting them know, who we are and what we do. Okay, so we'll leave that at 250 then, Fred.
Yeah, I just bumped it up. I just bumped it up to 20 people at 250, and that changed the number a little bit. So
okay, does that seem reasonable, everyone? That assuming 20 people at 250 for now? It's budgets are guidelines, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
until we have a fundraiser, we should keep dues at 250 at least.
Okay, I think so, Sean. Like I said, but I wanted that to be a board decision, so thank you all for that discussion. Okay, Fred, I guess
Okay.
we'll keep moving.
Are there any other questions about the income side?
I had one thing I'd like to add, or maybe not add, but ask you. You have in here, you have business donations, member donations. Is that where we would put under member donations? Is that where we would put, like when Chuck Pruitt suggested we do a pass the hat for a couple of reasons. One, to build up money for Pamela's project, and then two, that Nicole, we had that project on Rachel Pye, and Chuck suggested he pass the hat to develop a fund. Is that would that go, or would you create subcategories under that? Say,
well,
pass the hat for whatever.
Yeah, this was intended for individual member donations for the club. If somebody was going to make a donation for a specific project, I would do a subcategory so that I could tally it up so that we could report and know how much we raised for that project specifically.
Okay.
It doesn't matter on the other side where we expense it, but it would be nice. I think it would be nice to know, oh, hey, we did this Rachel project and we raised $1,200, so we got 2 Rachels or whatever.
Okay. And I think on the expense side, you could do that. I mean, if you're going to have donations, you could say donations from members to Shillong, donations to Rachel Pye. Under the expenses, we could expense it out against that same account, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So it could balance or have money left over, which is another thing. This may not be the right time, but we have to think about, since the iron is hot, so to speak, I could probably put an email out to the membership that says in the last few meetings we've had these discussions regarding Rachel and regarding Shillong, and that then I could say be looking out for an email from Fred asking for voluntary contributions to the club for either or both of those projects. And I'm not sure how you would build that out, Fred.
Yeah, well, that booking, it's easy in the system. I think we have to have a more cohesive thought process as a board in terms of what we want to do, and then it's probably a subject of one of our meetings with a follow-up, maybe an introductory email, a discussion at one of our regular meetings, and then a follow-up email soliciting donations, and then we can go from there. But I think they're going to look to us. I mean, I sense they'll look to us to sort of guide them through that process. I saw some real interest, including personal interest, in the Rachel thing last week. So I think we probably should pursue that one a little bit, because I think it's a really good thing. It can have a lot of impact for a small amount of money.
Absolutely. We do not have a program for June 21st. And what in my thought process, I was thinking that might be a real good time to have a club assembly prior to, at the end of our first half year, moving into our first full year, and then have a club discussion on these very things, following through with the membership and saying, okay, we have some proposals on the board for Rachel, for Shillong, for some other things like that. And let the club as a whole have that discussion and be aware of the fact that there would be a follow-up email and a follow-up voluntary billing, if you will. Mm-hmm. What do you think about, I don't have a program for that day yet, and I thought that might be a good way to finish the year. Thoughts?
What's the date, Bill?
It would be June 21st. It would be the last meeting of our Rotary year. Oop, looks like you're not here.
I'm in London.
You know what, though? This is a good test. If you're not out for a nice dinner somewhere, this would be a good test to see if you could communicate with us from London.
I'm willing to try it.
Okay, all right.
It might be late, but it would be kind of fun to do something like that.
2 or 3 in the morning, I think. Yeah.
I think it is.
It's
all right.
Yeah, it's what, 6 hours difference? Yeah. Well, maybe not, Fred. Maybe you'll. We'll tell you how it turns out. Okay.
Okay. Well, I could participate in terms of helping to get it prepared and stuff. No
sure.
problem.
Sure. Okay. Let's move on down your list then.
Okay. All right. So in terms of expenses, then we have initial bank charges. I don't anticipate a lot more bank charges in here, but there's a little cushion in the budget. The actual numbers On the left are the business license that we've already paid for the year, Club Runner, which we paid for, Zoom, which is paid for the year. And then I have a kind of a catch-all category for another $250 of which we haven't spent anything.
Okay.
But
Good idea.
there's a little less than $1,200 in the budget. And then I created these categories called contributions. And if we're doing a project within the district, it would be under a district project. If it was something with the foundation where we were collecting or donating money to the foundation from the club, it would go there. Or if we were doing our own international project or contributing to other international projects, and we can subcategorize all of those. But I just, based on what we have in terms of dollars and based on the intended additional income for membership, we will have money for for investing if we choose to. And I just chose 600, 800, 600 as a random thing. We can decide how we want to do that differently. It's just that's kind of a catch-all. And then I did put the district dues in there that we would need to pay at $1,000 for a year. Based on our original calculations, we probably need to figure out what that's going to be for us next year and save that in the bank and make that an actual number, which I haven't gone back to after your email to adjust, but I can. And then the dues are based on what we talked about initially when we put the budget together. So,
Correct.
So there's probably some adjustment in there for the annual raise that I need to make as well. But that still gives us a net income. If you take the $1,000 there in district dues and make that a little bit more, you've still got year over year, if all your membership comes through and all your donations, you're still going to have a net income for the year of $5,275.
Great.
So,
Hey, Fred, can you tell
go
me
ahead.
more about the foundation contributions? And
Yeah.
So what would that look like compared versus
well,
a district project or an international project? Or like, is
my
that a
understanding.
contribution directly to the foundation, or is it like an in-kind towards a foundation project?
No, this would be if we decided that we wanted to take our money that we were going to contribute and contribute some of it to the foundation. This would be using our club money.
Dues dollars. Okay.
Dues dollars. Yeah. This has nothing to do with any money that we raise individually. Because that would be, as we do a foundation raise, that would be a separate income category for foundation and a separate expense that's just a pass-through. And that's really not budgeted for because I don't know what that would be. So
Right.
we can certainly do that. But I don't know the appetite of what our members are in terms of how much more they want to contribute to. I mean, I'm guessing there's some that want to contribute. I certainly do, but I can't say that for all of our members. And
No, I was more interested in if you were thinking that this would be a contribution towards a foundation project as opposed to directly to the foundation. I was just trying to figure out what it was for.
I think it could be both, depending on what we wanted to do as a group.
Okay.
So, that, like I said, all three of those, we have $2,000. The way I put the whole budget together to contribute to something, we can decide to contribute it to any of these categories or something else if we found that there was something else we wanted to make contribution to.
One good thing is that with that kind of money, it might be a good time. We'll ask the membership at the end of June, but maybe throw $500 into Polio Plus as a club. Number one, we'll get 500 Paul Harris points, but number two is that 500 will become 1,500 because of the Gates matches for the next few years.
Right.
And it would be a nice little gesture for our small club to get to jump into that Polio Plus at this point. One other question I had, Fred, is okay, we have this income left over at the end of the year. On your balance sheet, then we're probably going to show some sort of a carryover, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For the next year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I haven't done the balance sheet yet because until you have the P&L done, the balance sheet doesn't make any sense because you change one thing, it actually does it. It does it automatically for you. So that'd be
Correct.
once we know what we want to do on this side, the balance sheet is just a calculation that comes off of it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, look, I'm just looking at my notes. It looks like you've oh no, there is one thing, Fred.
Yep.
I think under expenses we might want to, even though we may not be able to afford much right now, we might want to put in an expense item for training. The district was very generous this year when I told them we're a brand new club and we can't afford to send the president to pets. And they paid for it, which I thought was awesome. But in the future, they're going to expect us to grow and mature and take care of ourselves, right?
sure.
So we might want to have a training line in there to cover the expenditures, say, of at least the president-elect for pets and the DTA.
Okay.
The pets is not cheap. The pets is about $750. I think $600 if you share a room, $750 if you have your own. And then DTA is whatever that registration is, $190 or something like that. So we could probably budget what $850 for the next Rotary year. We may or may not be able to afford that. We may have to move some dollars around. But I think we need to, as we mature, I think we need to plan on paying for training of at least the president-elect.
Okay. And you think that would be about 850?
I'm going to guess about 850 at this point. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that something
we wouldn't pay for travel? We would pay for registration only. So
when would that expense be accrued? Or
it would be expensed. The pets would be expensed in probably February of 19, and the DTA would be expensed probably in May or June of 19. So we wouldn't incur it in this. The nice thing about it is that's going to be pushed back until the 19 year, but it'll still be in the second half of our coming Rotary year.
I'm just going to throw 250 at the training item now that's in the budget, and we can hold some over if we choose to. How's that?
Okay.
So then that comes down here. Now you see it here.
Right.
On the bottom is training.
Yeah. And we'll need more. We'll need more in that 18, 19 year, of course. So
yeah. And we can. What we'll need to do is probably. Well, let me ask you this, Bill, and I don't know the answer to this. You would do the officers rotate with the Rotary year or with the calendar year, or is that a club decision?
It's a Rotary year.
It's a Rotary year.
Right.
Okay.
So I came on board. I'm on for as the charter president, then I'm on for one more year as the president. And then what we need to decide somewhere, like come next December, we need to decide on elections, the typical Rotary protocol. In December, there'll be nominations and elections for the officers. If someone wants to step up and be president, if not, and I'm president for another year, we'll save that training money, right? But anyway, it's something to think about. We need to have our elections next December, and then any training expenditures would be in, again, like I say, in February of 19 for pets, probably May of 19 for the district training assembly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Cool.
yeah, but it goes on a Rotary year. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
And Sean, Wade, any other thoughts on your side?
No, I think it looks good.
Okay. All right.
Great. Nice. That's a lot of work, Fred. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's really not that. It wasn't that big a deal once I got into it, and the program does work for you. I'm sure there will be some complicated things when we get down the road, but that's nice that we have a secretary that is an accountant. So
Yeah, that does help, doesn't it?
she told me today, she said, I'm not going to be treasurer. I'm not going to be treasurer. She said that.
That's good. Well, everybody, when you have an expertise, right, you join a volunteer association, the first thing they do is say, oh, you're a CPA, you can be the treasurer, right, or whatever.
Right.
Mm.
And people don't, well, obviously they want to do something different. Okay, moving down our agenda then. I guess we need to have a vote, don't we?
Yeah, I think we do.
Official vote. So, Fred, you want to make a motion on the agenda?
Yeah, I move that we accept the budget as proposed
Okay.
as of 4/12/18, which we're looking at here. I'll memorialize that in a printed PDF copy to everybody after our board meeting.
Good. Do we have a second?
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
second.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait a second.
Wait a
Oh,
second.
yes.
Okay, I saw that. Very good, Sean. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the budget as proposed?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go.
Okay, everybody's good. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Can't even-
Uh,
There it is.
uh,
Okay, excellent. So let's move on down to some new business then. And does anyone have any, because we have to have it in by April 15th apparently, but does anyone have anything they want to provide to Richard Clark for a resolution for Council on Legislation? It's a little late. We're kind of behind the eight ball as a new club. So we'll just say no, and I'll let Richard know that, we just don't have anything. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
yeah,
All
I
right.
think that's correct.
All right. I sent everyone a copy of some certificates that were sent to me from the eClub 9920 Francophone.
Yes.
Does anyone have any problem with those and the way they're worded? Does it look like it obligates us to do anything that we may not want to do? I'm all hot for it, but I need independent third parties to look at that and say, hey, Bill, what does this mean?
My question, Bill, and I didn't see anything on there. I thought it looked pretty cool. What does it mean?
Okay.
I mean, what are we obligating to? Or is this just more of a ceremonial thing? What is it?
Okay. What it means is that we are, in the spirit of Rotary, agreeing that if there is an opportunity and there's a project we like, right, that we would join with the other 30 clubs or whatever. We don't have to, but basically what it's saying is we are understanding there's an opportunity for us as an e-club to twin with other e-clubs around the world and have an impact as e-clubs. And I remember what Chuck Pruitt wanted us to be, a club with impact. We can't do it alone, but we can do it with other e-clubs. And that's basically what the intent of this is. There's no obligation. If they say, okay, we're going to do this project and we need money, we could simply say, we don't have it. But if it looks good to us, we have agreed that in spirit, we would like to be part of this twin group. At least that's my understanding. And I think that's the way the certificate reads. It doesn't read we're obligated.
No.
And so I'm going to follow through with Jean-Louis, but it is my understanding that it's a spirit thing, not a contract. And if it is a spirit thing, is the board in favor of that?
I think even in this, if it's in the spirit of it, we should be thoughtful about what it is. And this goes back to who we are and what our membership is interesting to them, right?
Okay.
And and think about, even if it is just in the spirit of it, if something comes along that's really great and we want to get involved in it, then we put the money in it. Well, then something else comes along and it sounds really great. We want to put the money in it. And after a few of those, all of a sudden, hey, we wanted to do some community stuff too, but we've invested all this. So
Okay.
even I think maybe just a thought of how much would we want to get invested in that, just as a guideline, right? Like, if we have a bucket of money, then we would love to spend no more than 25% of that on these these partnerships, on this twinning. And then we still want to reserve the other 75% for projects that we want to do. And I'm just spitballing numbers there. I'm not committed to those, but I'm just thinking, sometimes when you have that, that spirit of something, you might find yourself going down this road of losing sight of maybe what you intended.
Absolutely, because I remember what Chuck said, we want to have an impact as a club. So like you say, we don't want to get ourselves lost in getting so involved with these other twin clubs that we lose focus on what we want to do as a club individually. I'm going to check with Jean-Louis to find out, number one, the level of obligation, and also the amount of involvement. In other words, if we say, look, thank you for all these projects you're throwing at us, but we really are only interested in this one at the moment, right? Can we do just that? I'll get those answers, and I think what we'll do is, I think I should carry this forward to that club assembly I talked about.
Yep.
And this could be one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
We find out these two questions, and then we have that discussion with the club membership. And Wade, that's an excellent point. How deep do we get involved in this? Can we say, hey, we only want to do one project for right now? Mm-hmm. And also, what's the level of is this spirit or is this obligatory? Okay, so I will find that out. Okay.
Yeah.
Spirit. Okay, and he and I communicate quite a bit, so I will find that out for sure. Okay, an interesting thing that I want to ask you all about, and again, this is probably going to get pushed to the club assembly, is sub-area meetings. My wife had an excellent point. She says, if you're going to keep this club intact, people probably should get to know each other. I've known Sean for years. I've been personally involved with Fred the last few months, and Wade, you and I have been to training together.
Yeah.
So we've met, right? There's been that physical presence. Trying to figure out what to do to have area or sub-area meetings of the E-Club members. I don't mind running up to the island for a dinner, because almost all of the members of the E-Club from Vancouver Island are actually from the Victoria area. So that's easy. I can run up there, spend a night, have a dinner with them all, and get to know them. But how do we, and again, I think I've already answered this myself, but how do we create sub-area meetings and schedules, and who would be the person to do that? I mean, I don't want to create every one of them. I'm wondering if we would seek volunteers and say, okay, who on Vancouver Island wants to set up a sub-meeting? Who from South Washington wants to set up a sub-meeting? Trying to figure out how we would organize, how we would make that happen.
My first thought on that is, I think it's got to be organic, in the fact that people have to want to do this. I think part of the reason many of these folks are on this group, or part of this group, is because they don't have to commit to a physical meeting. I like the idea of getting to face everyone at least once. That makes the bond a little stronger. But I don't know how everybody else feels about that, Bill. And I think if we push them in that direction, it might push some people away. That just, hey, I just want to do my 2 hours a month and stay in touch and be involved and so forth. Now, I could be wrong there, and everybody could say, oh yeah, hey, let's get together, and it turns into something bigger and better. But I think we have to be careful of that, because it's counter what the E-Club is. And you're trying to take maybe the old way of doing Rotary and apply it to the new way of doing Rotary. And maybe it's something to do, or maybe it's something that has to happen in time when people get a little bit more comfortable. And that's just off the top of the head, my thoughts.
Yeah. So sorry, Wade.
Please.
Yeah. So One of the things, Bill, when you were talking about having the club assembly, one of the things I was thinking about is hosting a viewing party, an assembly party, where those who are interested in this area could get together and participate in the assembly together as opposed to at home. Just voluntary. If you're in the South Sound, we get together at one of the local establishments that has an internet connection. We set up a little projector so that everybody who is interested is in the same place. I think if we did something like that a couple times that was voluntary, and those people who are then start having those connections want to get together more frequently, we could just publicize those things through on Club Runner.
Sure. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that that's something we probably, like Fred says, make it organic, but we defer it, like you say, Sean, to the assembly at the end of the year. We throw it out there as a discussion item. I guess number one is, are people interested in something like that? As Fred said, hey, they're in an e-club because they can't get together, right? But what I'm looking at is, what I was hoping is maybe just one a year, one in Victoria, one in the Olympia area, one in Tacoma area or something. Very small, very informal, but an opportunity for people to have face-to-face and talk with members. Nothing required. And, we could end up with people saying, I'm not interested. But I thought I would throw that out there because, I don't know, I just thought it might be a good idea. And I'm willing to jump all over and meet everyone if that's what it takes. But it may be that that's not something that would happen. I love your idea, though, Sean, of some way to, because, there's 3 or 4 of us right here in the Olympia area that we could get together and do something like that. And Wade, I think there are a few people up in your area. I'd be happy to run up there. That's just half an hour up the road, and do it.
That's not a big deal.
So okay, it's something we need to throw out to the membership. Are they interested in anything like that at all? If there is someone interested in a particular geographic area, then maybe I can work with them and they can help. They can put it together. If there's no interest, then I guess I don't worry about it.
Well, Bill, so once we set a time for the assembly, I am serious about just sending something out through Club Runner saying, hey, if people are interested, I'm going to host something down in the Olympia area, and it's okay if I'm by myself, but those who are interested, come on by. We'll have some drinks and some hors d'oeuvres and participate in the assembly together.
Okay. How do we do that, Sean? I'm not that technically proficient. I know Tom Carroll had me up at his offices, and my gosh, he can do a chat with the entire state of Washington.
Yeah, well, I've got the technology that I can set that up at one of the local places.
Can you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do it regularly as part of our
cool.
As part of our work.
Okay. Well, Fred, you won't be here.
No, but I will get up at whatever time it is. I think it'd be fun to be involved and be in London for that.
Okay.
So I'll try and make that.
Would you be able to, I know you're a busy man, but would you be able to come down to our area, someplace where Sean could set up on that date, if possible? And I think we can get Cynthia there.
Is that May 21st or April 21st?
June
21st.
June 21st. Yeah,
most likely. Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to echo Fred's statement that it's organic, and we're kind of going with that. Like, hey, I just want to throw this out there. Bill, you mentioned going to the island. I think I would pretty much drop a couple things to just go to the island for the hell of it, and just do a little meeting there. I think that would be a lot of fun. So, so I think that's something that I think we should do.
Okay, so we'll throw it out. We'll make it organic. We'll test the interest. We'll go with Sean's idea. Sean will let us know by email where we're at and what we're doing, right?
Yep.
And then we'll throw it out that anybody who's within a close geographic proximity, like maybe Centralia, Chehalis, or whatever, and Wade, anybody from Tacoma, come down to Olympia. Maybe, who knows, if we could get 8 or so people, that would be cool in one spot, and who then could communicate with the rest of the membership from the island or whatever. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go through these other items tonight because unless somebody else wants to, because we've we've gone through quite a bit here tonight already. And Cynthia is working on the policy manual. I think we have one. And I want to let you know that the survey has been sent out, and I have been getting some feedback. Not as much as I want, unfortunately. We're getting only about we have about 5 back, but the responses have been pretty consistent, which is good, I think. And then I think we really, until we get the membership to approve the budget at the assembly, we really can't go forward with developing any criteria for deciding how we want to review and approve project and expenditures, right?
Yep.
I think we need to have that done first. That was Troy's input. He didn't want to vote for any expenditures until he knew where our budget was.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I guess with that said, is there anything for the good of the order, gentlemen?
Yeah. I wanted to bring something up. The Rachel thing last week really caught for me, and I, you know, I have a little bit of background in technology. I don't deal with it much anymore, but I've been to Kenya. Sorry about that. Let me. Hang on. There, it's gone. My wife got it. I've been to Kenya. I've seen what it's like there, and I love the country. And we happen to have a family, friends of my wife's, for when she worked at the Gates Foundation, that are from Kenya. They live here during the majority of the year, and they spend the month of December back at home in Nakuru. And their son, who we visited 3 years ago, runs there. They have a kind of a hotel there in Nakuru that they operate. And long story short, he and his fiance are getting married on December 8th. And I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, I wonder if there's a way that we could do a Rachel project somewhere near Nakuru, and we could actually go there and present this thing and see it implemented, and do an international project without having to spend a lot of money, you know, of our clubs. Because I'm guessing, you know, I'd certainly throw in, you know, some money, and I got the sense there were others in the meeting the other night that thought it might be interesting. But what a cool thing to do in the first 6 months, to do a project in another country. And I would just happen to be there if we go there for this wedding, which we're still discussing. But if I knew there was a project there, it would even give more reason for us to think to make that trip. So
I'll jump in here, but I like the idea, Fred. I mean, it doesn't cost that much. What was it? $650? Bought the Rachel Pie.
It was about $1,000 or $1,200 for five computers and the Rachel unit, which included the training. I think that was the number that
include the training. And I think we could, and they have a presence in Kenya.
Yeah.
So that would be one of those things. And you know what? We could do it without even having to spend I guess we could try to get a community grant through, if we wanted to write that up, we could try to get a community grant from the district and get half our money back. You know, and if not, if we're not successful in that, you know, I think we can get $1,000 from the membership if we, you know, $50 here, $20 there.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally would be interested in it even if we didn't go.
Right.
But what a neat thing to be able to have that experience and to see it implemented. And both my wife and I are photographers, so we get lots of pictures and do some video and stuff and make a real cool thing that would, I think, maybe be a rally point for, you know, our membership a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, and I think Nicole, Sean, you weren't able to be there, but Nicole Comforto, if you get a chance, look at our, I got the recording up on the website today, so I got it fixed and up there on the membership. You can just cut to the part of it where, you know, she talks. But an excellent presentation, and I believe they have it. They are in Kenya, and It's not much money, and they do a train the trainers type thing, and they can educate, entire classrooms, several classrooms as a result of this. And I think they even use Chromebooks as well too.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they can take the Chromebook home. In other cases, they share them from class to class to class. But a terrific business model. But I think it's something to pursue.
And you knew the guy from Gig Harbor, right?
I know all of them. I know Jeff Harris. I know Bob Cairns,
Okay.
and they've both done a tremendous amount of work using Rachel Pies, and the model in Guatemala has been very, very successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So I'm in favor of it, Fred. That's something. What we do is you can present that at club assembly,
okay.
and get a feel from the membership. But I think it's a fantastic idea, and I know it was had very positive reception at the meeting last week. I know Chuck Pruitt was the first one to raise his hand and say, "Let's pass the hat. Let's do this." So, yeah.
He was pretty excited about it too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he wants our club to have an impact, and he wants it. And I agree with what he's saying. He wants an immediate impact, so we can tell people, look what the E Club has already been doing. And so this is the kind of thing I think if we plan it and we fund it and we act on it, it'll be good for future membership for our club too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Fred. Great idea. That I'm going to add that right now.
Okay.
To my notes for the assembly, and we'll have a Rachel Pie discussion among others, including Shalong and all those, and also the twinning of clubs and what that would be for contributions from our club as well.
Yeah, and maybe it's even feasible that we could get them involved in that project as well, and do a couple of schools.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we don't even have to do. There's a lot of clubs and districts that do grants, follow the Rotary grant model, right? The protocol but don't use foundation money.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we don't have to go through for $1,200. We don't have to go through all the grant applications and all that. I mean, all we have to do basically is use due diligence with our money, follow the Rotary grant model
Mm-hmm.
for projects, and do our own project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order, folks?
Just to mention, I will not be attending next week's regularly scheduled meeting. We're going on vacation for the first time in like 30 years. So it's our 30th anniversary, and I promised my wife to take her overseas at some point, and I'm finally making good on it. So
Where are you going?
Yeah.
so we're gonna spend 3 nights in New Orleans, and then we're gonna take a cruise to Jamaica and Cozumel and Grand Caymans.
Nice.
Good for you. Good for
Nice.
you.
I haven't taken her anywhere in 30 years, so it's about time.
Good for
Wow.
you. Yeah. Well, you have really been dedicated to your business, Wade.
No, thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, my wife is dragging me on a cruise in December. We're doing the Eastern Caribbean,
Nice.
Barbados and all that part, And then if that's not enough, then next September in 19, she's dragging me we're going for 2 weeks on the Rhine from Budapest to Amsterdam.
Wonderful.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's dragging me all over the world, Wade. You get her. I'm warning you. You give her a taste of it.
Yeah.
I've taken her out to the Panama Canal. I've taken her to safaris in Tanzania, photo safaris. But once she got a taste of it, then it was Paris, London, Rome.
Yeah. Well, as long as the business can keep taking care of itself, I don't mind getting away at all.
Good for you. You need to do that.
Yes.
Good for you, sir.
Thank you.
Wade, I'll be joining you away from next week's meeting. I will be. I'm traveling also internationally.
Oh, great.
I will be in South America. I will be in Argentina and Chile. We're going on a photo safari. It's not a photo safari. It's a photo workshop with a professional photography group, and we're going to hopefully capture some beautiful images of Patagonia.
Oh, beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to be on the Argentinian side for a week, and then the Chilean side for a week. and then we're going to a cooking class and we're doing wine tours. So I won't be back until May 3rd. So
Okay.
I will. I may try and get in on the call if I can. It shouldn't be the big time concern, but I don't know where I'll be and I don't know what I'll be doing that night. So,
Okay.
but I won't. I likely will not be at that meeting.
Okay. All right. But if you can test it.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Part of this program, right? This e-club is no matter where you are in the world, right? You can be part of Rotary, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So
I'm told I have good internet connections everywhere we are, but I was told that in Africa too, and you know how that works.
I've been there. Yeah, go down and pay a lot of money at the hotel lobby, and your connection is so slow, it's not worth it. Yeah,
No, you pay
Well,
for the connection, and then the power goes out.
and the
That's
power
right.
goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, Fred. Maybe you can give us a slideshow presentation for at some point from your travel.
I'll be glad to.
That would be a fun program. There's no reason why we can't have fun programs too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Wow, that's great. So I won't expect you to, but if either of you can join, that would be awesome.
All right.
Anything else for the good of the order? Okay. If not, then this has been saved up to the cloud, and I will make sure that I forward it to Cynthia, and then she can extract it for some notes. Then.
Great.
All right.
Great. Thanks, Bill.
Everyone,
Bill.
thank you so very much. See you
Thanks,
next
everybody.
meeting. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.